Hey there hustlers, welcome back to Forever Hustle. During this pandemic, we've been home keeping safe, as we're sure you all have been doing too, but we've also had some long bouts of boredom. That made us realise that a lot of viewers may be interested in trying to find some new shows on Netflix, because who wants to stay at home and be bored? Am I right? Netflix has released more than 100 TV shows over the years that they call Netflix Originals. In this video we compile the top 10 best of the Netflix Originals. Are you ready? Number 10. Making a Murderer. This story follows Steven Avery, who was exonerated after spending nearly 2 decades in prison for a crime he did not commit. Once out, he filed suit for $34 million against the state and several individuals involved with his arrest. However, a few years later, Avery found himself behind bars again, this time accused of murder. The eyewitness on this new case stated that Teresa Hallback, the victim, was last seen on Avery's property photographing a vehicle, whereafter she was found dead sometime later. Avery and his nephew Brendan Dassey were tried and, spoiler alert, convicted of the crime. When Columbia graduate students Laura Cardi and Moira DeMose researched the Avery case, they felt it would make an interesting documentary. No other network would take the case, but Netflix took up on their concept to produce the docuseries, which created a lot of attention and incited petitions to have Avery's case reviewed, though officials in the state insist all the evidence is not captured in the series. Number 9. Peaky Blinders. A notorious gang in 1919 Birmingham, England is led by the fierce Tommy Shelby, a crime boss set on moving up in the world. The series follows the exploits of the crime family in the direct aftermath of the First World War. The concept of the series is about a fictional family, which is loosely based on a real urban youth gang of the same name, who were active in the city from the 1890s to the early 20th century. The series premiered in 2013 on BBC Two and then shifted to BBC One for the 5th season, and was renewed up to a 7th season based on where they planned on taking the show. After the 5th season concluded, Netflix purchased the series for the last 2 remaining seasons. Number 8. You. Here's an awkward take on the meaning of love. This series was taken from a 2014 novel by Caroline Kepnes. A brilliant male bookstore manager crosses paths with an aspiring female writer and sparks a charming yet weird crush. This soon becomes something even more sinister when the writer quickly becomes the manager's extreme, toxic and delusional obsession. He uses social media, the internet and every tool at his disposal to become closer to her, even going as far as to eliminate any obstacle, including people that stood in his way. This was only season 1. This American psychological thriller was first produced by Warner Horizon Television alongside A&E Studios before Netflix got wind of it. In the 2nd season, Joe relocates to the City of Angels and falls in love with the equally psychopathic and obsessive heiress, Love Quinn. Clearly he just can't seem to win. You really makes one consider, what would you do for love? Number 7. Lucifer. Lucifer Morningstar decided he no longer wanted to be the dutiful servant in hell, so he came to Earth in hopes of better understanding humanity. He settles in LA where he opens a nightclub and forms a connection with a homicide detective, and by default the local police, by assisting them in solving tricky criminal cases. Originally a show produced by Fox, Lucifer was released in 2016. How did it manage to become a Netflix original, you ask? Well, it appears the ratings were low, so they decided to cancel the series. And that's when the popular streaming service swooped in and made the save. Good call, because it has certainly amassed a large following over the years. Number 6. Orange is the New Black. An American comedy drama created by Jenji Kohan for Netflix. The series is based on Piper Kerman's experiences at a minimum security federal prison. The series is filled with real life matters that has been brought against the US prison system over the years, and a lot has been tackled during these episodes. First released in 2013, and one of Netflix's most watched original series, Orange is the New Black was widely acclaimed throughout its run and has received many accolades to attest the worthiness of its placement on this list. Number 5. Money Heist. A criminal mastermind has a plan to pull off the biggest heist in recorded history. And what could that heist be? To print billions of euros in the Royal Mint of Spain. The mastermind goes by the name The Professor. To help him carry out the ambitious plan, he recruits 8 people with certain abilities who have nothing to lose. They take hostages to aid their negotiations with law enforcement, but the law in turn has a strategy of their own to come up with a way to capture the Professor. Money Heist is a crime drama on Netflix. Originally called La Casa de Papel. Season 3 has just been released by the streaming service, so go check it out and come back and let us know if it was worth a watch. Number 4. Stranger Things. This series is set in the 1980s and was inspired by several themes and aspects that were circling during that time period, such as the strange Cold War experiments and real-world conspiracy theories involving secret government experiments. Some aspects of the Netflix series were even taken from some famous directors, such as the likes of Steven Spielberg, John Carpenter and Stephen King. The children of the town who become suspicious based on the boy's disappearance start their own investigations and believe that government officials have taken over the town library to conduct experiments. The officials end up inadvertently creating a portal to an alternate dimension, known as the Upside Down. The influence of the dimension starts to affect the unknowing residents of the town in a catastrophic way. Stranger Things has infused references to the pop culture of that decade and has received awards and critical acclaim for its characterisation, pacing, atmosphere, acting, soundtrack, directing, writing and homages to 1980s films. I don't know about you, but especially with Halloween coming up, it's definitely worth watching or re-watching if you haven't already binged. Number 3. Dark. Children are vanishing from the fictional German town of Winden. In the aftermath of the most recent disappearance, Dark follows characters as they pursue the truth, bringing to light the fractured relationships, double lives and the dark parts of 4 families living there, unfurling a mystery that spans 4 generations. The series explores the existential implications of time and its effect on human nature, as connections between the estranged families start to unravel a sinister time travel conspiracy. Dark debuted on December 1st, 2017 on Netflix. It is the first German language original series in the streaming service repertoire. It has received critical acclaim, praise for its tone, visuals, acting, casting, musical score and narrative ambition and complexity. Number 2. Mindhunter. Catching a criminal often requires the authorities to get inside the villain's mind to figure out how they think, the triggers or what elicits the crime, and what caused them to end up killing in the first place. That's the job of FBI agents Holden Ford and Bill Tench. They make it their mission to understand and capture serial killers by studying their damaged psyches. They set out by interviewing imprisoned serial killers to understand how they think, with the hope of applying this knowledge to solving ongoing cases, thereby pioneer the development of modern serial killer profiling. Methodically directed and chilling in its ability to induce the terror of the killers in its orbit. It's easily one of Netflix's best original series. Before we look at our number 1 pick for today, we wanted to reach out to you, our loyal supporters, as we've noticed that about 90% of the viewers we get aren't yet subscribed to the channel. If you love our videos, please subscribe to the channel as it really helps us out. Also, don't forget to turn on the bell notification to get notified when we upload a new video. Number 1. Tiger King. An exploration of big cat breeding and its bizarre underworld, populated by eccentric characters such as Joe Exotic and Carole Baskin. The series explores the deeply interconnected society of big cat conservationists and collectors in America, and the private zoos and sanctuaries they've set up for these unusual and deadly animals. Tiger King received positive reviews from critics and was watched by 45.3 million people over its first 10 days of release, ranking as one of Netflix's most successful releases to date. Joe Exotic and Carole Baskin exchanged threatening videos, legal allegations, protests in which PETA and the US Conservation and Protection Authorities became involved. Joe Exotic goes so far as to insinuate that Carole Baskin murdered her second husband, who's been missing since May of 1997. At the end of the documentary, it was concluded that the animals themselves were forgotten amongst all the interpersonal fighting, and that no party had truly come out victorious. So what do you guys think? Are there any shows you think we should have mentioned or ranked differently? Do let us know in the comment section down below. Our last video was on the top 7 worst gaming consoles to date, so if you haven't seen it yet, we'll link it in the description. And don't miss our next video where we're going to be discussing the top 10 worst Netflix shows. If you'd like to be friends or just let us know any suggestions for upcoming videos, you can follow us on Instagram at Forever Hustle. And until next time, hustlers.
She needs you home right away.
Is everything okay?
No, I don't think so. It's your grandma.
What?
It's your grandma.
Yeah!